Huh? What time is it? Oh, yeah. It's wait, it's Lally's Game Theory 2 time already? Oh, whatever. Okay. Enjoy. Tales from the Pizzaplex's first book had a bunch of really interesting stuff in it, but I think by far the most interesting part of the book was the epilogue. While Frailty and Lally's Game were great stories and pretty interesting in terms of lore, the epilogue was just incredible in every way, and what it seems to be trying to tell us makes it a lot cooler in concept than it would have already been by itself, and it makes me appreciate the after ending a whole lot more. I already made a video on the rest of the book, and when I say that, I mean it was really just about Frailty, but this video is going to be specifically about the epilogue and everything that I think it could mean for the story. So now, let's get started.
Dreadfully, terribly, something is amiss. But don't you mind the feeling, it's all made up in your head. Destiny's melody calling out to me. But what I need from you is to come closer to the edge.
In the first Tales epilogue, we follow Gil, a 24-year-old guy on the renovation team of the old FNaF 6 building. According to one of his 4 co-workers, Danny, who kind of acts like a kid, the renovation team's job is to clear out all the broken endoskeletons, take them apart, and renovate the FNaF 6 pizzeria to look like it did back when it was open. The mega Pizzaplex was being built on top of the FNaF 6 building, so it was planned to be made into a sort of museum to the Fazbear past. Gil applied to work at the Pizzaplex hoping to be on the tech team, but he ended up being part of the renovation crew, which he just hated. However, when the animatronics for the Pizzaplex arrived way too early, it's noticed by 2 construction workers, the truck driver bringing them, and Gil, that there is an abnormality among the friendly-looking animatronics. Unbeknownst to the truck driver, one of the animatronics didn't have a shell, and had just been a bare endoskeleton that had seemed to be burned and also had bunny ears. When Gil sees this endoskeleton, he sees it as an opportunity to show that he should be on the tech team. Assuming this endoskeleton won't be used as an animatronic for the Pizzaplex, and given how abnormal it is, he takes the endoskeleton back to the FNaF 6 building. While his co-workers are initially confused as to why he's bringing an endoskeleton into the building in which they're supposed to be clearing out endoskeletons, they quickly realize that Gil is a genius. Gil is able to connect the endoskeleton to his laptop and tap into its cleanup protocol. He activates it and instructs the endoskeleton to rip the limbs and heads off of the old piled up endoskeletons and make another pile of the discarded and separated parts. At first, Gil thinks it's not working, but then the endoskeleton goes on and does just that. Gil turns around to tell his co-workers that he's a genius, only to quickly switch to releasing a blood-curdling scream. Danny's terrified at the fact that the endoskeleton just ripped off Gil's arms, and then his head, and then even more terrified that the endoskeleton had been walking towards him and the other 2 renovation crew members. Construction workers heard all the commotion and came into the building. Danny ran out of the building, seeing arms and legs flailing everywhere. More and more people died, and Danny shut the door behind him, screaming for more construction workers to come and seal the door of the FNaF 6 building, and the epilogue ends right there. There's a lot about this epilogue that is really interesting, and I think it's a great start to this series of epilogues. I find it interesting that the endoskeleton rips off the arms of people, and it very much seems like a callback to FNaF 1. Phone Guy says back in FNaF 1 that the animatronic can mistake you for an endoskeleton, which I think is bullshit in the context of FNaF 1, but it very much seems like this epilogue is referencing that. Now, something I mentioned in my last theory was that I didn't understand why people thought the epilogue confirmed Stitchline games, since there's literally nothing in the epilogue that tied to it, but I think I may have found a reason why people think it confirms it. When Tales from the Pizzaplex was first announced, it was stated that they were going to be, quote, in the world of the newest games. However, some people doubted this, and the description has since changed, now saying it would take place in uncharted corners of this series' canon. Some people since then seem to think that this is trying to tell us that they aren't in the games anymore, but consider the fact that this has happened before with Princess Quest. The file name of the princess changed from Cassidy back to just Princess. This doesn't mean that Cassidy isn't the princess, since it's already blatantly shown in Princess Quest itself that Cassidy is the princess, so instead it probably just means that it wasn't meant to be shown that early, but the damage had already been done. The same goes for Tales from the Pizzaplex stories. While the description doesn't say that they're in the games anymore, that doesn't mean they aren't, since the stories constantly reference the Pizzaplex, not to mention the Pizzaplex is literally in the name of the title of the series. It could just be that people believe Frailty alone could confirm Stitchline games if it was in the game's timeline, but at that point it just wasn't clear yet that Tails was in the games, which is incorrect, but it could be what people thought. But then maybe when people read the epilogue, which very blatantly confirms Tails is in the games, they saw that it would open up the opportunity for Frailty to confirm Stitchline games, though as I went over in my last theory, it very much doesn't. So now with that stuff out of the way, I think we should probably mention the interesting details mentioned in the epilogue. Something that always felt weird about the Afton ending was that the floor of the pizza place was white and light gray, while at the same time both large stages are in the room. The reason this feels off is because in FNaF 6, if you have a white and light gray floor, it means you've only upgraded the floor once, and if you'd only upgraded it once, you couldn't have both stages at once.
Dude, upgrade it and then get the last...
This is always unavailable. Why?
No, dude, the reason why is because you don't have a final upgrade.
What do you mean?
Get the
Oh
last
wait,
floor,
hold up.
The floor pan.
Oh no. The floor is only upgraded once.
Yes, correct.
But there's 2 stages in Security Breach. And that's not possible.
That's impossible. Oh, wow. Very good observation. Now, by the last stage.
This epilogue seems to have fixed this minor inconsistency, since it's stated here that the floor of the pizza place is actually black and white. Something else that was interesting about the pizza place in the ending was that the lights on the stages were always on. Even if we don't activate all the generators, the lights in the pizza place are always on. In this epilogue, this is specifically called out. It's said that despite the fact that all the electricity in the building is basically gone, the lights are still on. It's even stated that no one knows why. And the last thing that we see in both the epilogue and Security Breach is something I don't think anyone would have noticed if they were sane. Luckily, I have friends that aren't. And they pointed out to me a specific detail about a water bottle. Yeah, a water bottle of all things. In the epilogue, Gil has a water bottle, because honestly, if you have a job like this, very thirsty work, and you don't have a water bottle on you at all times, you're probably screwed. It's stated at a certain point that he sets the water bottle down, but after what happens at the end of the epilogue, it wouldn't be illogical to assume Gil's water bottle could have been knocked down. But why am I telling you this? Well, in the pizza place, in Security Breach, scattered all around the fallen tables are not 1, not 2, but 9 water bottles. Here's one water bottle right here. There's a second one next to it. Then we come over here. Find 3, 4. And then over here, 5th, 6th. And then we come over here. And there is a 7th, 8th. And finally, a 9th. Also, can we talk about the fact that there were a lot of endoskeletons in this pizza place, but then we end up not seeing any in here? Is it possible that those endoskeletons are the ones that ended up being inside the blob? I can't really find any now, but maybe some of the endoskeletons that were in the blob could be belonging to some of the endoskeletons that were up in the pizza place in the epilogue. Anyway, that's all. Back to the video. While obviously this doesn't mean all that much, it's just really interesting that such a minor detail matches what we actually see in the game. But now I think it's time to talk about the endoskeleton. Since Security Breach came out, there's been a lot of theories around what happened to Glamrock Bonnie in Security Breach, but we don't really have a clear answer still. Some theories claim that Glamrock Bonnie's endoskeleton was used for Burntrap, but I don't think that was the case. Or at least, it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't at the same time. I think that the endoskeleton in this book's epilogue is the endoskeleton that created Burntrap. It makes a lot of sense since it does have rabbit ears. But the question is, why does this have rabbit ears? It's not like it was made to be Burntrap, but early in the epilogue, Theo, one of the construction crew members, says that because of this endoskeleton being, well, weird, they would probably need a new guitarist. I think that this Burntrap endoskeleton was the endo that was going to be used for Glamrock Bonnie, but when it was turned into a killing machine, the endoskeleton was replaced with a new one. It would still explain why Burntrap has claws, because it was an endo made to play the guitar, which Monty has claws in order to do, meaning Glamrock Bonnie must also have had claws. It also makes sense because the endo seems to have been burnt, but how it burned, who knows. It's not like it was in FNaF 6, and it was new, so what happened here? I don't know. That's just one question I have, though. I also still wonder what happened to Glamrock Bonnie afterwards. Like I said, it seems like there were 2 different Glamrock Bonnies, one that turned into Burntrap and another that replaced that one, and actually became the Glamrock Bonnie that was used in the Pizzaplex. So what happened to that one? It's not like Vanny needed it for Burntrap, so what happened? I don't really know, but I'm sure we'll get an answer eventually, maybe? I mean, it almost definitely seems like Monty destroyed Glamrock Bonnie, but then what would have happened to him afterwards? Another interesting detail to note is that it's said that the FNaF 6 building was going to be turned into a museum to remember the old Freddy's locations, but in Security Breach, the FNaF 6 building is buried underground, and the only way down is in an elevator, which there's no way back up from, and down there FNaF 6 is still in ruins. It seems like maybe after the incident with the Burntrap endoskeleton, they did seal the doors, locking Burntrap in the building, stuck with no way back up. Eventually, Burntrap will come into contact with William Afton's corpse, and with the help of Vanny, the two bodies, the endoskeleton and William's corpse, will become one. Vanny will kill kids and put their spirits into metals to create remnant, and that's what she uses to regenerate William's body, blah 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 blah, and that's how Burntrap comes to be. My point here is that since FNaF 6 is still in ruins and Security Breach, maybe the Burntrap endo going ham on everyone is what caused FNaF 6 to be blocked off and covered up, the project to make it into a museum cancelled. That could also explain why some of the future workers that built Roxy Raceway didn't understand why there seemed to be something underneath Roxy Raceway, but when they discovered the elevator down into the FNaF 6 cave, they definitely went down, because, I mean, they say that they will go down. So what happened to those workers? I mean, probably not the next one or the one after that, but I think maybe one of the later epilogues will actually tell us what happened to those workers. And I also think, and hope, that a future epilogue will show how Vanny turned the endoskeleton into Burntrap. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with my theory? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching this video. And if you did, then please do leave a like and subscribe if you want to. It feels kind of weird to say that this is my last currently planned Lally's Game book video, though I may make more in the future. But now that I'm done with Tales Book 1, I can finally work on my definitive Golden Freddy video, and then after that, my FNaF timeline. But that's all for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys!